Major competition that threatens to take down XRP? Well, it's coming from Circle and their latest launch. We'll talk about that and price action. What about someone stealing resources to make some money? And it was a crypto influencer. DeFi's got a problem and it's coming from the Treasury. We could thank the Genius Act for this one. Sailor's got a couple more posts that you need to see, along with
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Ugh, I almost threw up in my mouth. Make the winning bet. Oh gosh, if I gotta see it, you gotta see it. And yes, DeFi under attack. The SEC Genius Act coming after you. What's going on? Well, I've got that, but I've got green up on the screen, which is good news. Look at ADA deep in the green, up 7%. I told you when the laggards are moving, babies, it's good juice for all of us. In fact, look at the altcoin season index, 46 out of 100. Now, before we get into that crypto news, you know the deal. You, the viewer, matter most, so I share your comments. Shane Wilkins is hanging out with us, dropping support. Well, thank you very much, Shane. Says thanks. Good morning, brother. Well, good morning back to you. Maybe all this stuff will pump real good while I'm on vacation this week. Well, safe travels. And maybe you get the lucky hand with vacation too. Says have a great day. You have a great one as well, Shane. Love the support. Love you joining us, and love the fact that you're getting some time on vacation. David Lee says, I think the article is bull. But the good thing is that it helps bring the spotlight to the uninformed masses by writing on the Trump name. Good publicity for XRP. I agree. Publicity is important for crypto. That's why the SEC case being over is kind of a bad thing, because think about it. The SEC Ripple case kept XRP relevant in the news for how many years in a row? Every freaking week XRP was front and center. Yeah, think about that. Sometimes bad press is good press, baby. Silly Sam dropping support on the channel. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it this Sunday. And happy Sunday to you all. You enjoying your morning coffee? Says, hi, Klaus. Some support for your doggies. Well, my doggies appreciate it. They're eating their food. I just made them their morning breakfast. Morning breakfast, a little redundant. Love them and your channel. My puppy will be named Ripple, and he will be taught to XRP outside. Choo choo his nachos. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to have a neighbor who's named Gary, and you could teach your dog to pee on Gary's yard. That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? Bitcoin in the green. Barely, but look at ADA, XRP, OKB, BNB, TRX, XLM. Look, the alts are in the green. And like I said to you in the beginning, 46 out of 100 right now. That's juicy altcoin action. I love seeing that. I really do. Volume low for a Sunday, but guess what? That's okay, because the market's holding. Volume 117 billion. Let's get right into the juicy news. Crypto influencer jailed for a crypto jacking scheme. What? Last time I heard someone jacking it in jail, this wasn't related to crypto. According to prosecutors, the defendant, Charles Parks III, known as CP30, well done there, stole more than $3.5 million in cloud computing services. Basically, what he did was he used other person's resources in order to mine crypto. Just throwing that out there. The reason I shared the story with you is because the dude's name, Charles Parks III, known as C3PO. So Star Wars fans, there you go. Look, I'm just sharing this because we've seen a lot of influencers out there do a lot of shady things, promote a lot of shady things, and pump. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Now let's go to the cringe. Yeah, look at it. Michael Saylor, make the winning bet. I'm trying not to sneeze right now. And he's at the casino. Dude, you don't even have chips in your hand. You just have a drink in your hand. What bet are you making, you fucking loser? Oh, this AI artist cringe. What else has he got? Oh, here's another one. Michael Saylor. Satoshi started a fire in cyberspace. What? What in the hell is going on? Oh, like I said, if I've got to watch this crap, you've got to watch this crap. But he did do this. Insufficient orange, which means tomorrow he's going to post about buying more BTC. Okay. All right, let's go to Treasury now. Going after DeFi. This is kind of a problem here. And this is where people were worrying about the overuse of the Genius Act. The U.S. Treasury mulls digital ID verification in DeFi to curb illicit finance. This is messed up because I don't want to have to provide my ID all the time for DeFi. According to the document, the Treasury noted that one of its options will be embedded identity checks into DeFi smart contracts. A recently published consultation comes from the newly passed Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoin Act, the Genius Act, which was signed into law. The act, which spells out regulatory framework for payment stablecoin issuers, directs the Treasury to look into new compliance technologies, including APIs, artificial intelligence and digital identity verification. So basically, they can use the Genius Act to kind of expand the scope of where new regs need to be put into place. So now they could use the Genius Act to enable KYC, AML stuff in DeFi. That's not good, everyone. I don't like that because I don't like the government's hands getting involved with this stuff. I'll keep you up to date. XRP holds key support as supply clusters shape market outlook. Are people just making shit up? Supply clusters? I always hear about supply shock, supply squeeze. Look, there's no supply squeeze. If you want to go onto an exchange and buy XRP, you can. There's no supply squeeze. Now we've got supply clusters. For real, some of this stuff is just absolutely stupid. But what isn't stupid is this, and this is the main juice of today's video. Does Circle's latest move threaten XRP? This is interesting because now you're seeing Circle expand into XRP territory. This is a really good read, and all this is linked in the description below if you want to read this yourselves too. The average trip on an airplane isn't really in competition with the average trip on a train or subway. Most of the time, they serve different kinds of travelers. But sometimes the routes overlap enough to matter. And in rare cases, the infrastructural advantages of a new train line can put a dent into plane ticket bookings. I like the analogies done here. This is basically the right mental model for reading Circle Internet's announcement of ARC, a new layer 1 blockchain designed around stablecoin finance. Whoa. So now Circle's developing their own layer 1 blockchain. That is more of a competition for XRP, XRPL, right? Stablecoins and XRP, no, those are two different ball games. But when a stablecoin player develops their own layer 1 blockchain, oh, now we kind of have an issue. For holders of XRP, the potential overlaps between ARC and XRPL are with payments, foreign exchange, and international money transfers. Ooh, okay. So does this mean launching ARC as a direct threat to XRP? Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. You've got now more players in the same space when it comes to money movement. And it's all about trust. What is Circle's right now market cap? It's in like the mega billions, right? What's Ripple's? Not $1 billion yet. I think it's close to like $500 million. So that being said, it's all about trust. So if Circle's garnering more trust than Ripple and they launch a product which is similar to XRPL, well, they're going to have a huge advantage, aren't they? First, let's clarify exactly what Circle is going for, which is launch of ARC. For the uninitiated, Circle is the issuer of USDC, blah, 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 market cap of $68 billion. It's their bid to make stablecoins move with enterprise-grade reliability on public rails. So kind of like what XRPL does, right? You can move stuff using rails. Transactions should theoretically settle in less than a second. Same thing with XRPL. So again, the whole speed thing. So competing with speed, competing with cost, competing with security. Yeah. Now that being said though, do you believe it's going to be a threat to XRPL? What you're seeing is this, okay? If there's a way for companies to make money, they're going to jump in that space and make money, okay? It's a threat. Why? Because the more players you have jumping into a space, the more it creates competition. The more it creates competition, the more those players are incentivized to lower their costs to encourage more consumers to come in. That's where XRPL has to be careful. Because if all of a sudden Circle's ARC is better than XRPL, if it's cheaper, if it's faster, has better rails, more liquidity, then yes, it's definitely a threat to XRPL, which could put some pressure onto XRP. So I'm going to keep you informed on this because they just announced this, okay? I'm going to let you know what happens. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out. But you're seeing Circle now want to start becoming a massive player, not just in the stablecoin arena, but in the blockchain arena itself. Overall in the crypto market, we touched on the altcoin season index at 46 out of 100. That's juicy AF. XRP is still looking good. I said volume for this weekend is going to drop between 3 to 4 billion. Well, guess where we're at right now? 3.23 billion, right there in my target zone. Price-wise, we're holding strong above $3 right now. I am very, very happy with that. Going to the candlesticks, what are we seeing? Yeah, more of the same. Once we made that run up to $3, we had a couple tests sub $2. We had one right here that got us right to the $3 mark. I'm sorry, sub $3. We had another one right here that gave us a couple days worth of some sub $3 action. But overall, the market's looking good. Volume's holding strong. Interest is still there. And this is the month of August, which is a trap month. So XRP is doing what it needs to. The rest of the market doing what it needs to. The Treasury Department, though, is using the Genius Act to what? Yeah, create more regulations for DeFi. Players out there are launching more competition to what? Take a bite out of the profit markets. Yeah, watch out, XRPL. Sailor's cringe AF because he's making the winning bet even though he's got no chips in his hand. And yes, influencers out there are still doing shady things like crypto jacking, even if they have a really cool name. Now, is Circle's ARC a direct threat to XRP? No. XRPL? Yeah, of course. Same thing with Base, right? It's going to be a direct threat to that, to layer ones that are designed to move money. The thing is this, though, is competition is good for you and I because when a whole bunch of competition enters the space, it lowers the cost for the consumer because those competitors out there want our money. They want our action, so they're going to keep incentivizing us to play in the pool. Remember when crypto was hot like 3 years ago? Everyone was offering free trades. Yeah, because they were doing whatever they could to lure us into their trading platforms. It's competition. Now, that being said, I really don't foresee it having any effect on XRP price whatsoever. Why? Because XRPL never had really a price on XRP because there was never enough volume to really push it. There was never really enough usage on XRPL to do anything to XRP price. XRP's price moved on what, everyone? Reg-aronies, right? It moved in November with the optimism of a new pro-crypto presidency, and it moved big time again with what? With Crypto Week happening. Again, regs move XRP. Why? Because once the clarity comes with that, that's when more companies can start buying and hodling XRP. It's not about XRPL. That being said, you're still seeing competition move into space, which is good for us, but bad for some of the other chains out there. I am a little, surprised. No, that's a lie. I'm not surprised at all that the government would be using the latest Genius Act to find a way to, yes, regulate stuff even more. KYC and DeFi, God, I don't want the government touching their stuff anymore. That gets kind of annoying, doesn't it? XRP price, though, isn't annoying, holding north of $3. I like it. I told you we would be good, everyone. And I also told you volume would be right between 3 and 4 billion on Sunday. And yes, it's lower than what we've seen during the week, but it's way higher than where we have been over the last however many weekends. Because yes, it's still hot. And this is the month of August, which is a trap month. No regs this month, no rate cuts this month, CPI data was very boring this month. So yeah, the fact that we're still juicy right now with the lack of all that is a good sign. So happy Sunday and choo-choo what? Choo-choo, you jabronis.